Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I am going to go through all of my seasonal decor, do a little bit of decluttering, undecorate from spring and summer, and get some fall decor up, but just a little bit. And I'm also going to bake some pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. Now, I know it's a little bit early for fall, but I'm totally feeling it, and I'm not staying in this apartment that much longer. So I wanted to do a little bit of decorating before I have to pack everything up and move. So if you guys are ready for the decluttering, the decor, and the baking, and all of the fall things, then stay tuned because here we go. Before I did anything else, I wanted to pull out all of the decor from each of the sections that I had, go through it, see if there's anything that I could declutter because it's something maybe I don't like that much. Or with moving from an apartment to a house, I do think some of the decor that I use is probably going to change. Being in an apartment, I've had a lot of small little knick-knacky pieces. I think when I move to a house, I'm going to want some larger items to kind of fill that space a little bit more. I'm sure I can still find uses for some of the small things in little tiered trays or something like that, but I want to go through and make sure everything is something I want to keep before I take the time to pack it up and take the space to actually move it. I have all of these zipper pouches that I was keeping smaller items in. These are the same zipper pouches I use for my board games that I've shared before. And I thought about labeling these. I've kind of debated back and forth. I'm still going to hold off. And the reason is because I reuse these from season to season. So for example, when I pull out my winter stuff and pull out the little greenery there, I'll then put my fall greenery back in the old zipper pouch that it was for the winter. So I don't have dedicated ones for each and every item. It saves a tiny bit of money reusing things that way, but I do miss labeling it. I'm sure I'm going to do an overhaul of the way I store decor. This was just kind of a temporary solution since I had these drop front sweater boxes. And as my decor collection potentially grows with a lot more space, I might use larger tubs and store them in our basement or something like that. But for now, we're just going to go through it, make sure I'm keeping what I want. And then of course I'll have to package some of it up so that I can transport it easier without any of it breaking. So I'll have to wrap up the delicate items.
For you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts. 'Cause I don't want to waste my time. No. I don't want to waste my time.
For the fall stuff, I'm just going to pull it all out, put it on my kitchen table so I can decide what I want to use this year. Again, I'm not going to totally decorate for fall. I'm thinking just the kitchen area, but we'll see. And then I had a separate spot for Halloween. You'll see this cute little headband my mom made when I was dressed up as a flamingo for work one year, which I absolutely love. I don't think I can get rid of it. She worked really hard on it. And if I ever have a costume party come up, it's really easy. I just wear all pink, stand on one leg, and toss on that headband. The last box should most accurately say spring/summer. I don't really have separate decor for spring and summer, so I'm going to pull out what's in there, go look at the spring decor that I have out, which is not a ton, and pull it off, and I will put that away in a minute. Anytime I undecorate a space, I like to fully undecorate first and give it a good wipe down to make sure everything's nice and clean before I go add more items to that space and clutter it up and have blocked surfaces that I can't clean as easily. I'm also going to pack up this Bubble Up dish brush that I had been using for spring and summer. I'm going to stick it in the dishwasher so it's nice and clean before I pack it, but I do have leftover fall Mrs. Meyer scents, so I'm going to use those and use that dish soap. And rather than pouring it in the Bubble Up dish brush, I'm actually just going to leave it out on the countertop because I like the look that the soap brings. It's almost like decor in itself. So here are all of my fall pieces. I'm going to go through them and try and figure out what I want to decorate with. And because I've decorated for fall already in this apartment, I do have kind of a good idea of what I want in the kitchen. So I'm just going to grab those things and bring them right over to my favorite spot to decorate, this little corner of the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen all the time, so I like having decor in the kitchen the most. And this little spot doesn't get a ton of use. I'm not using it for food prep or anything, so it's really easy to put decor there and it doesn't get in the way. I also have this little crate from the Target dollar spot that says lemonade on one side, and then I used my Cricut on the other side to add a label that says farm fresh hand-picked pumpkins. So I'm just going to switch out the lemons, put it in these pumpkins that were also from the dollar spot that I painted white, and add the greenery back in and stick it on top of the toaster. I have had somebody leave a comment before letting me know that I shouldn't put anything on top of my toaster. Don't worry, we don't use it often. Before I use the toaster, I do make sure I take off the wooden crate. I do not want to start any apartment fires.
Autumn comes too soon. Autumn comes too soon. The light that flickers will blow away the sigh. And all that.
You'll see exactly what I was talking about before. I had pumpkins in here, pulled the pumpkins out, and then I'm putting the lemons back in and using the same storage bag. So I'm going to take the wreath out from this bowl and just add all of the pumpkins around that little cake stand and kind of play around with the look and see how I like it. And I did decide the candle was too high up with the mini cake stand, so I took that out, put the candle back in, and actually did mess up those pumpkins a little bit because I like the look of them just scattered about as opposed to perfectly organized.
Autumn comes too soon. Autumn comes too soon.
Now that I have a little bit of decor out, I have to bake something fall themed. So I'm going to make some pumpkin oat muffins. And this is the first time I've ever made a blender muffin. So exclusively mixing everything in the blender. And it was actually quite convenient. I'm not sure if there are other recipes that I could probably use this method, but it was helpful because you do start with oats and put them in the blender and turn them into oat flour basically. So I needed to use the blender to do that, but it was nice that I didn't have to dirty up any other bowls or appliances or things like that. So I'm leaving all of the ingredients on the screen here if you are interested in making these muffins. I started with 1.5 cups of rolled oats, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, blended that all together, and then I added in my eggs. I just did 2 eggs, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and blended it up one more time. So that's actually the recipe for one batch, and I did double it. So I did double of all of that. And then once it was all blended up, and I did need that tamper, which helps push down all of the ingredients to really get it going. Once it was going, it blended up really nicely, and I took it off the blender and added in some mini chocolate chips. So for the single batch, you'll add 1/3 of a cup of mini chocolate chips. But again, since I doubled it, I did closer to 2/3 of a cup, or maybe even closer to a cup. When I pulled out my cupcake liners this morning, I actually only had just a couple of orange cupcake liners left, which clearly indicates that I like to bake a lot in the fall. I'm sure that's when I'm using the orange color the most. So I used some of my yellow ones as well. Definitely not a time for me to go out and buy new cupcake liners. I want to use what I have and move with less. So yellow worked just fine. So now I need to finish putting away the spring decor that I had out, as well as the fall decor that I didn't use. The items I'm leaving behind on the floor are the ones that I think I'm ready to declutter. Just a couple of small pumpkins, some picture frames that I need to move to a different spot, a teal cake stand I don't think I really need anymore, and then some candy canes that I'm just going to repurchase when we get to our new place when the time comes, probably in December or so. I've had those candy canes for years and just use them as decor, and most of them are broken anyway. The muffins are cool, so I'm pulling them out of the muffin tray, sticking them on our little cake stand, and of course I have to give one of them a try just to make sure they're okay.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed and you got a little bit of inspiration, even if you're not quite ready for fall. I need to go finish up my pumpkin muffin, but I love the little touch of fall I did in here, even though it's not throughout the entire apartment. It'll be just enough to get me through. So if you liked today's video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, I will see you guys later.